Hey, this is RJ with Semper Fi Custom Remodeling. Something I really feel like I need to explain to a lot of clients, so might as well just get it out of the way on a video, is, the supply costs, the labor costs, and that sort of thing here in Western North Carolina. First thing is our area sits well above the national average in remodeling and building costs. So that's something to know going into this. A lot of clients from Florida or Texas or California, for example, where they have a lot of tile floors in those homes, a lot of, especially Florida homes built on slab, that's the finish they go with, right? Now, simple supply and demand is going to tell me if that's a main finish in the state of Florida per se, you're going to have a huge supply of tile setters and a high demand. And when that happens, I don't want to say trades price gouge each other, but what ends up happening is the costs are lower because you do have such a big supply that can meet that demand. Now, here in Western North Carolina, let's bring tile into play. If someone's doing it the right way, we will only really install tile with, a Schluter system, right? That's your waterproofing system, which does cost more, but it's high likelihood you're not going to see a leak, like you would with other installation methods. So tile here could be double the cost if they're doing it right that it can be in other places, right? So another thing that comes into play with what makes our area so expensive, other than massive demand and lower supply, is logistics. We're up in the mountains. We're not that close to, a major city. So a lot of these, shipments have to come a pretty good distance to get here. So we do see that. We do see higher shipping rates and that sort of thing. So those are two really big things that drive cost up here. I would say the third is the amount of people moving here, right? And we saw this during COVID, where you were getting a lot of people from out of state moving here because they were able to work remotely. And, that drove cost up because not only, like I was explaining with tile setters, but framers are at higher demand. Tile setters are at higher demand. Drywall, trim, painters. And when you have a high demand and low supply, I mean, naturally what happens is, you're spread thin and your costs are going up. So you become more expensive as a trade. Now, demand hasn't really dipped. So, rightfully so, why would you dip your numbers? Why would you dip your labor rate? If people are paying it and you're giving a good quality product. So I would say those are some major reasons why this area sits above the national average. The list goes on, but I just wanted to give you our top 3 reasons that we see and help explain it to you, because it is a surprise to a lot of people, especially the ones that move here from out of state, thinking, it may cost less to remodel here than it did their bathroom in New England or New York or Southern California or whatever, right? So that should explain it, but obviously if you have questions about it, I'm happy to go through that whole list with you. Just give me a call.